back to my channel. Today we're doing probably my highest requested video ever, which is a what's on my iPhone. I have the iPhone 14 Pro Max. I love it. I have a wildflower case on my phone, like always. I also have the camera bling on my phone. This is the pink one. And then I have this little brandy sticker on it that is supposed to be a little bunny or like a little cherub dressed as a bunny. I don't know, but it is super faded, so you kind of can't even tell. I should probably replace it. Along with this, I did want to show you a couple of my other favorite cases. I did do a wildflower cases collection somewhat recently, so if you want to see all of them, go to that video. I will have it linked. But I thought I would just highlight my favorites in this one. This one I always go back to. I just love it so much. I love the color. It's just so cute. And then this one has been one of my recent favorites. This is the hot pink aura case. And then this one is the cheetah print case. Where is this leopard? I never know the difference. Okay, so this is my lock screen. It's just a picture from Pinterest. I'll try to link it if I can find it. So on my lock screen, I have the date at the top with the weather. And then I have two widgets. I have a widget for the clock app. I have my alarms on there so I can see which ones are on. I usually have some on that are set to repeat every weekday. So right there, it would usually say like 7:40 a.m. And then I have a shop app widget, which I will explain more in a bit. So then you open my phone and I actually have the same home screen as I do lock screen. And then at the top, I have a calendar widget. The app for this is called Widgetsmith. You can customize a whole bunch of different widgets. I do want to just make a disclaimer that not a lot has changed since the last what's on my iPhone video that I made, which is why I was hesitant to make this. But so many of you guys have asked for it for so long that I just needed to do it. But yeah, everything is still pretty similar to how it was before. So right here, I have messages, photos, notes, and YouTube. This first page just has all of my most used apps. I try to keep my apps lower on the screen. So I'll put something at the top that I don't need to click on just so that I can reach my apps easier with my thumb, because I do like the big phones. This is the Pro Max. Obviously messages is important. And then photos I also use all the time because I'm always posting photos and videos or editing pictures, which I will also show you how I do in this video. The Notes app I don't use on my phone quite a lot unless I'm like needing to reference something, but when I'm actually making a note, I will usually be doing it on my laptop or my desktop because I think it's way easier to like type it out on a keyboard. I use the Notes app to take notes in my classes. I know a lot of people use Google Docs for notes, but I prefer the Notes app. I just make folders for each of my classes, and then for every new lecture, I make a new note in that folder. Then I have the YouTube app, of course, and then I have a batteries widget. This is definitely more helpful when I have my AirPods connected, just so I can quickly see how much of a charge they have. And then I have a weather widget. So this is so nice for when I'm getting dressed in the mornings. I can just pull it up on my home screen, or I can just swipe over. And I also have a bigger widget at the top that shows the weather throughout the day, so that's super helpful. I also have some Pinterest widgets here. I'll show you how to do those in a second. I have this widget for shortcuts, which just never gets used. And then another widget that just has app suggestions, and then my music widget. But anyways, back to the home screen. Then in the bottom right, I have Instagram, Snapchat, Pinterest, and TikTok. These are all of my most used apps, I would say, or at least most used like social media. And then at the very bottom, I have the phone app, camera, Safari, and music. These are also some of my most used apps, especially the camera, because you guys know I'm always taking pictures and videos. Okay, interrupting super quick because I wanted to tell you guys about an app that I've been using called 1Password. So it's a password manager that you can use to create, store, use, and safely share passwords. So let's get into it. So as I'm sure we all know, everything is digital now. Our entire lives are on our phone and on our computer. At least mine is. It's how I communicate with family, how I communicate with friends, how I pay for things, how I have a job. It is everything. And that also means that things can easily just get hacked, and that's why it's so important to have it protected. That is where 1Password comes in. You are able to have security and you don't even have to remember all of your passwords. I personally love how 1Password just allows me to put my mind at ease, because it does stress me out thinking about forgetting a password to something important or getting hacked or something like that. So basically all you have to do is remember one strong password that will protect everything else. So it'll protect your logins, your credit cards, your notes, your Wi-Fi, whatever you need. You can also do it on any device at any time. So 1Password allows you to securely switch between Mac, Android, iPhone, and PC. And of course, it keeps everything private and in sync across devices. So 1Password can't see the passwords that you have or any of the sensitive information. So even if someone were to hack into their systems, they would just find encrypted data that would be nearly impossible to open. So it's secure, it's safe, it gives you peace of mind. So right now, 1Password is actually offering you guys 25% off your individual and family plans. You can click the link in my description and sign up for your free trial today. Thank you so much to 1Password for sponsoring this video. On the second page, these are just all the apps that I don't need as often, but I organized them like this because I did not want it to look cluttered. As someone who does social media, I do have to be on my phone probably a little bit more than the average person, I guess, and I just don't want it to like stress me me out when I look at it. And so I made sure to organize everything in a pretty clean way that just doesn't like clutter my screen, I guess. You can hold down the widget and then click edit widget, and you can change all the settings. You can put it as any board that you want and it'll rotate through the pictures. You can change the time. You can even use someone else's board if you wanted to. So that's how I did the Pinterest widget. I used to have more of them, but they started being weird and putting like borders on the pictures and stuff, but I guess it stopped doing that. So I could add them back to the first page if I wanted to, but I do like the function of these ones, so I'll probably keep it. Back to the second page, I have a little reminders widget just with my to-do list. I actually don't use this a ton because I've been writing down my to-do list a lot, like on paper. And then here are all of my apps. I feel like normally when I'm looking for an app that's not on the first page, I'll just swipe down and search it. So I guess not all of my apps are gonna be on this page, but I'd say most of them are. So in this first folder, we have all the finance stuff. I have Wells Fargo, Venmo, and PayPal. And then next we have the editing folder. So most of these apps I actually use more on my iPad where I make my thumbnails, but I do have them on my phone just in case I ever need them. So I have PixArt, Lightroom, Retouch, PhotoGrid, and Fonto. I haven't needed to use PixArt in a long time. For thumbnails, I mostly use Procreate, Fonto, and PhotoGrid. I have Procreate on my iPad. PhotoGrid is where I do the collages, Fonto is where I add the text, and then Procreate is where I add all the little doodles. Oh, and Lightroom is where I actually filter the picture. I don't use Retouch a lot. That's if something weird is like in the background of a picture and I just need to like edit it out or something, but that rarely gets used. It is a very helpful app though. But let's head into Lightroom and I'm gonna show you guys how I edit my Instagram pictures. Okay, so I just imported this selfie that I took a while ago when I had first gotten my hair done. So this is it without any filter. First thing I'm gonna do is go into the light section. I will play with the exposure depending on the picture. This one, I think I could bring it up a little bit. I never do like exact numbers or anything like that, just whatever feels right. And I also never change anything drastically. Definitely depends on the picture though, but this is how I would say the average photo is that I edit, like in terms of lighting and all that kind of stuff. And then I don't really touch the contrast. I do bring down the highlights. I feel like iPhone cameras do that weird thing where it like adjusts the highlights in a really weird way, if you know what I'm talking about. So bringing down the highlights does help with that a little bit. It's not making a huge difference in this picture, so I'm just gonna leave it there. I do usually like to bring up the shadows just a tiny bit and the blacks as well, because I feel like it just kind of evens out the picture a little bit more and it just makes it look more cohesive. So that's all I do in the lighting section. Now moving on to color. Sometimes I will turn the temperature up. It's usually only like by 1 or 2 though, because I feel like it can look weird if you do it too much. And then I take the vibrance up and just stop whenever I feel like it. Again, no specific number. And then I also bring the saturation up, but I do keep this one a little bit lower than the vibrance because it can turn you orange very easily. So here's where we are at right now. If I hold down the screen, you can see what it looks like without edits, and then when I let go, you can see what it looks like with. And that's pretty much all I do. Sometimes I'll go into detail, go to noise, and then turn up the noise reduction a little bit because it just smooths everything out. But that's it. That is how I edit my pictures, and I would just save it to my camera roll. So now we are going to move on to the next folder, which is emails. So I have Outlook and Gmail. I don't really use Outlook very much. I had to use that at Cal State LA, but now I pretty much just use Gmail. And then next I have my shopping folder. We have Amazon, Depop, which I don't use anymore. Maybe I'll use it again in the future. That's undecided. And then we have the Shop app, which I love so much. Basically, you sign in with your email and it pulls all of the tracking information out of your email and just has it all in one place. So if you're someone who gets a lot of packages, likes to shop, it's super helpful because it'll also send you notifications like when your package is out for delivery and when the tracking information is available, like stuff like that. And that's the widget that I have on my lock screen, so it tells me when things are arriving. And then we have the Urban Outfitters app, Target, which I love the Target app. If you don't have it and you shop at Target, you should download it. There's like a bunch of deals in there. You can also look up items and it'll tell you exactly where the thing is in your Target. That's super helpful. This app is just great for saving money. And then we have Princess Polly, Cotton On, Grubhub, Walgreens. Walgreens is pretty much just for printing out pictures. You can see the apps that are offloaded. I don't use those very much. And then on the second page, we have Unidays, which is an app for discounts for college students. And then we have the Brandy Melville app. And then next up, we have the college folder. This one is another one that I don't use a ton because I do all this stuff on my computer. We have Zoom, GoodNotes. I love GoodNotes. I highly recommend. If you're in school and you have to read a lot of articles, I love importing my articles into GoodNotes and annotating them through there. It's super helpful. It helps me retain the information a lot easier. Then we have Duo Mobile. A lot of you probably know what that is already. It's basically just like a 2-factor authentication thing. We have Google Docs, Discord, which I had to use for a group last school year. I haven't used it in a long time. We have Canvas. Focus and GroupMe. And then next up we have all the Apple apps. I'm not gonna go through all of these because these are just the basic ones that like are already downloaded onto your iPhone, and I don't use these a ton. I guess I use Maps a lot, but I always just like swipe down to search for Maps. But that is everything in that folder. It's all pretty boring, I would say. And then next up we have the tech folder. So I'm someone who loves Bluetooth like color changing light bulbs, which I have in this thing right here. I usually use the Govee brand, so most of mine are in the Govee app, but then one of mine is through Wiz, so that's another light bulb app. And then we have the Ring app, and then we have 1Password. Finishing it up, we have the Socials app. These are socials that I don't really use very often. This is kind of just a folder where I threw a few things into just to like organize it in some way. So we have Be Real. Obviously I don't use it because it's offloaded. YouTube Studio, I again mainly use it on my computer. This is basically just an app for creators to check all of their analytics, their comments, all kinds of stuff like that. And then we have the Locket app, which is like an app based around widgets where you can like add friends, you can take pictures on it, and like you can see all of your friends' pictures on the widget. I downloaded this forever ago and I honestly just don't really use it anymore, but that is everything on those two pages. So next we have my app library. I do just want to quickly go through that just to show you guys some more apps that I have that I like, because not everything is on my home screen. So first I want to show you the feed preview app. So this is super helpful for Instagram if you are a content creator, or not, if you just want to have a nice Instagram. This is so helpful. You can basically just put in your Instagram account. You don't even have to sign into it, and then you can test what certain pictures would look like on your Instagram. So I have mine loaded in here, but as you can see, this one is not actually on my Instagram. I was just kind of seeing what it would look like if I did post it. So this is just such a helpful app because I used to try to figure out what pictures would look like on my feed in like the weirdest ways, and now this is just so easy. I really need to re-download Duolingo, so I'm gonna do that right now because I really want to learn Spanish. Other than that, I really don't have many apps. I have some games on here. I never play them. Literally all of them are pretty much offloaded except for the New York Times games. I recently have started playing those. If you've heard of like the Wordle, doing the mini crosswords, doing connections, stuff like that, I kind of just started playing those games and I really like them. It's super nice for when you kind of just need like a brain break, because you can only play these games once a day. And so it's not like TikTok where you can just get stuck on it forever. Once you're done playing these games, you're done. But yeah, it's just really nice. It's also not something that makes me feel like I'm like rotting my brain because I'm actually having to like think about things. So I've been liking doing those recently, but I think that that's gonna be it. That is pretty much everything on my phone. Nothing crazy. Again, it's similar to how it was before, but I appreciate you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you liked it. I hope you found it useful in some way, but that is it. Again, thank you so much to 1Password for sponsoring, and I will have the link in my description. I'll also try to link my wallpaper. I also am going to put some of my beach pictures on my Pinterest under the My Photos board or something like that, because whenever I post a sunset picture on my Instagram stories, you guys will slide up and ask if I can post it without the text. So those will be on my Pinterest. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.